This is JB with Going Wild, back in the kitchen at the table doing some compass work. So for this you could use a compass. We have our protractor and a pencil and a piece of paper. And that's all we need to get started. Be right back. This is JB with Going Wild. Today we're working on using a compass without the map. Some more skills with that, using a protractor, and a little more detailed than last time. Last time we had 3 stops. This time we're going to have over double that. And we're also going to introduce a couple of new terms called handrail and aiming off. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera down so we can see a little bit better here. All right, let me turn the paper so you can see a little better there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Okay, first of all, we're going to find north. We're going to say, like on most maps, the grids in north are up these days. And try to keep this as close to it as I can. Just straight up and down. And that'll be our north. It's pretty close. Pretty close to straight up and down. All right. This time we have a road or a river. Could be either one. Or a trail. Something that's not going to move, that we can count on to stay there. Okay. That way, if we're to the north of this handrail, road, river, trail, whatever, then we know all we have to do is head south and we're going to hit this road again. So that's a pretty good safety factor. Okay, we'll say we park our vehicle here, whether it's a boat or a car, we'll call that A. Okay, once again we have a protractor. This one just has half the degrees, so 0 through 180. So I have to flip it around and add for the back side here. Okay, we're going to say we take off first. So that's 360. This is 270. 280, 290. 300, 310, 320. We'll say we go 320 degrees from our start point. And once again, we're using the same scale. And so we're going to say an inch on the ruler here equals 10 paces. And a pace is every time your left foot hits the ground. Lead with the right, and every time. So I'm going to connect my bearing here, or azimuth. Azimuth is military, bearing is civilian. And I've got a 1 right here. It's easier than starting at the very end because it's kind of rounded there. And so we're going to say 10, 20, 30, 40. 40 paces. We can keep track of that up here. 40 paces at, what did we say it was? 90. Well, it's 270, 280, 290, 310, 320. 90. Or 270, 280, 290, 3. 10, 20, 320 degrees. And so in your notebook, as you're hiking around, you don't have to do all this sketch work as you're hiking. You can just take a notebook and write down 320 degrees for 40 paces. And so we're going to call that B. So from B, try to get our protractor straight up and down. We're going to head, let's say 40 degrees. Okay, so we'll say 40 degrees. This time we'll say, put a 1 there, line up my dot, that way we have the right angle. $10, $20, $30, $40. We'll say another 40 paces. Keep a note of that. If I'm hiking or in a field, I will keep track of that. And there's always, every time you get to a destination, you can call a stop and relax for a little bit, or if you're hunting, you can kind of kick back and watch. Okay, now we're here. Get the protractor lined up, get the point right on the stop there. We'll say we're going to head 140 degrees. Okay, 140. Let's see how many paces we're going to go this time. Put a 1 there. I'll put a 5 there since it's that way. And we'll say 10, 20, 30. 30 paces. That'd be C, D, okay. Then we're going to head, let's see, trying to keep the space pretty even. Going to head, we'll say 270 degrees. 270. And we'll say 10, 20, 30 paces. All right. That's E. And so we're off hunting in the woods or scrounging, looking for different things. We're going to say from here we're going to head 60 degrees. So we're going to connect the dots. That gives us our bearing. Put the 1 on there so we can go further. How about that? $10, 20, 30, 40 paces. Degrees, 40 paces. And you can do an inch equals 10 like we're doing here, 10 paces, or you could say an inch equals 100 paces, 200, 300, 400 if you're working on a larger scale. And like you do not need to know how many paces it takes you to say do 100 yards or something like that, because not relevant when you're not using a map as much. Okay, so we're here. That is our point F. And say we want to go back to A now. So we've come out into the field. We've left our handrail at the river. And we're coming, hunting there, looking there, here, double tracked here, crossed our path here. Now we want to see how much, and we could keep doing this. We could do a few more angles. It all works out pretty much the same. But our pace back to A. From here, we can tell, get a point there, and pretty much straight up and down there. Give me a straight edge, make it a little easier here. It looks like 106, or that's 180, 190, 205 degrees. That's what I'm looking at here. So 205 degrees to get back to our start point, our home. Let's see how many paces it's going to take us. It looks like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 paces roughly. 60 paces to get back to our start point. Okay, now if we're heading straight back for that start point, we could end up to the left or to the right. It's really hard to tell. If we get to the river and we don't see our boat, we won't know which side we're on. So we'll have to scout both directions. Or we can do what we call aiming off. Okay, for aiming off, I'm going to do a deliberate, once I get fairly close to the end here, I'll say at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 paces. At 50 paces, I'm going to aim off pretty much straight up and down. I'm going to aim off right this way. So that's 180, 190, 190 degrees. So I'm going to aim off 190. For 80, 90. Start at 5 there. Until we hit the road. So we're going to say, that's what? 10 paces we're standing in the road, or the river. At the river right there, probably 8 paces if we're at the edge of the river. Okay, but now we know if we're heading this way, we need to make a right to find our vehicle. That way we know when we hit the handrail, we can go to the right and find our vehicle. If we didn't aim off and we didn't see our vehicle when we got to the handrail, we might not know exactly which way to go. Something to think about. Okay, with this we had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Double last time. Okay, this is JB Going Wild. You all right? JB with Going Wild saying remember to like and subscribe and remember to get outside and go wild.